Pie Sculpture class. So today we're going to be mixing and pouring the resin into our molds. And to do that, we need three clean cups in order to mix our resin. The resin that I gave you guys in the little pouch. You need gloves, you need your molds, a stir stick, and you need to be working outside. The resin does fume, and so you want to be working in a well-ventilated space. So we're going to pour our resin, both A and B, evenly into two different cups, and then mix those together, and then pour them into our molds. The resin has about a 2-minute working life, and so we have to work fairly quickly and make sure that we have everything ready before we start. If you see that there's any like clumping on the bottom of your containers, it's when I mix them, they might have mixed just a little bit together. So just put on gloves before you start pouring. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put an even amount, the same amount of part A into one container and the same amount in part B. And because we're not working very big, you don't need that much resin. So you guys have plenty of resin to do multiple castings. So I'm going to close these guys back up, make sure that they're as tight as possible. I'm going to set them aside. And now I'm going to take part A and mix it. And I want to make sure that it's evenly distributed. You can even shake those containers beforehand. Now I'm going to use a different part of my stir stick so that I don't start that process right away. And I'm going to mix part B. And then I'm going to add part B to part A. And after I do that, I want to make sure that I scrape off the sides and kind of get everything that I can in there so that they continue to be the same volume. Now that I have that, I'm going to stir this together. And I just want to make sure that it's nice and combined. Now, as you do that, you do get air bubbles inside of your resin. And that's okay. A way to start to pop them is to pour from a higher distance so that some of those bubbles start to pop. So I'm going to pour right into that hole. This is my little hippo. Or try my best to pour right into that hole. And after I have it about halfway full, I'm going to move it around so that I can make sure that it's getting into all of those crevices so that I can make sure that his little feet also get resin in them. And now it's full, but again, I'm going to just move it around and see if I can get it into all those crevices, make sure that there aren't any places that resin hasn't gone. And I'm just going to fill it as much as I can. And again, you have to work pretty quickly for this. I'm going to just top it off. And now these are my two little cholla plants, and they're going to need the same thing because they're kind of complicated. So I'm going to need to move them around. And I can already feel the resin starting to get hot, so I need to work fairly quickly. So I'm just going to pour and move it around so it kind of like sucks it in. And then for it's getting hot. So again, you got to work fairly quickly. And these aren't going to take that much material. So again, try to work as quickly as you can, but if you do have a complicated form, make sure that you are kind of moving it around a little bit so that it gets in everything. Now I have a whole bunch of extra resin here, and so I can take something like this silicone tray that's made for ice cubes. I have ones with cactuses and ones with robots, and I can use the rest of my resin and fill some of these just to end up using it. And you can see it's already getting pretty gelatinous, which means that I'm working too slowly. And if that happens to you, it's okay. You have plenty. So do what you can. Oh, and now it's sticky. Do what you can, and then leave it alone, like I'm not doing right now. So at this point in time, I have to just leave it alone. All of this needs to get disposed. So don't try to save those. Don't try to clean them. Just leave them be. I'm just gonna see. I don't think I can actually. I think these are gonna stay this way. So again, I just need to work a little bit more quickly. But you can see that these seem like they're full, and again, I try to get it into all those different crevices. Once you have poured everything in, you want to let it rest for at least 10 minutes until it's back to being room temperature, because that resin will heat up as it's binding together. So after you've poured, let it just sit for 10 minutes, wait for it, again, leave it outside so that you're not exposing anybody to those fumes. And then we'll pop it out after it's cured. So now we've waited for about 10 minutes. So these are getting solid, even though they're a little rubbery. But we should be able to pop these right out, and they should have a really nice form. So here's the little robot. Both of these are little robots. And I can kind of peel off the back the part that isn't stiff yet. So let's see what happened with ours. So I'm gonna take the hippo mold out, and I'm going to slowly pull it apart and take him out. So he looks great, except for he's missing his feet. So I keep, I tried it one time yesterday, and I'm trying to push enough material into his feet. So that's not happening yet. So I'm gonna have to try it again. But otherwise, the mold is really good, and he looks great.